Hi everybody, I'm Greg Fishel. Welcome to bonus weather video number 2 for this week, one day late. And we're going to be talking today about what I mean when I mention the atmosphere going into self-destruct mode. It sounds a lot more ominous than it really is, but it's just a phrase that I came up with a long time ago, and I've just sort of stuck with it. So all I'm going to do is show you here, this is the sounding or the vertical temperature and moisture profile from Greensboro this morning. And this plot comes courtesy of the University of Wyoming. They have a really neat site for the upper atmosphere. They have all the soundings all across the country, and you can either get it in graphical form or text form. So if you're a weather nerd and you want to check that out, just do a Google search for University of Wyoming and soundings, and it should come right up. So these lines that you see right here, I keep forgetting that you can't see me do that unless I actually put some colors here. These lines that are like this are what we call dry adiabats. So a lot of times in the morning, the ground temperature will be cooler than the air just above it. So the sun heats the ground, ground heats the air above that air heats the air above that, and so forth. So let's say the morning temperature is cooler, and then it gets up to here, and then it goes up like this, okay? Now, if this air from this point here rises, it is cooler than the environment right in here, okay? So if it's cooler than the environment, it's not buoyant, and it's not going to rise. In fact, it's actually going to sink right back to where it came. But once the ground temperature heats up to a point where the sounding looks like this, then any air parcel which is just slightly warmer than the environment will begin to rise, and it'll cool at the rate of about 5.5 degrees per 1,000 feet, which is the dry adiabatic lapse rate. Adiabat or adiabatic processes mean that the temperature is changing purely due to a reduction in pressure. There's no heating or cooling going on in terms of moving cooler air in or moving warmer air in. It's simply the temperature is changing because of the reduction in pressure. There's no heat being added or subtracted to the overall system. So the air parcel then begins to rise, and once it gets up here, where the temperature is either constant or increasing with height, where we have an inversion, then the air becomes cooler than the environment, and it stops going up, okay? Or at least it begins the process of stop going up. And then it starts to spread out right along this inversion like this, okay? And so then you have the development of these stratocumulus clouds that once they hit the inversion, then they spread out across the sky, and all of a sudden you go from sunshine to being mostly cloudy in a short period of time. And if this inversion doesn't do the trick, this one up here certainly will, okay? And most of these clouds were up at about 6,000 or 7,000 feet today, so it was a very, very deep, what we call mixed layer. But this is what happens. Now, if the air was really, really dry, if the dew points were extremely low, then this would not be a process that we would witness. But there's just enough moisture in the air so that these air parcels, when heated, rise, and then they reach what we call the lifting condensation level, where you have condensation going on, and then as soon as they hit the inversion, then they spread out and you become mostly cloudy at that point in time. So the reason I call it the self-destruct mode is basically, if the upper atmosphere could talk, it would be talking to the sun and saying, you want to heat that ground, which is going to heat the air above it, and you think it's going to stay sunny? I'll show you. And, basically then what happens is that the lapse rate becomes so steep that you get the formation of clouds, and then again it spreads out underneath that inversion, and it becomes mostly cloudy. So that's just sort of a fun term that, at least for me, that I came up with years ago, and I've just sort of stuck with it. Alrighty, I hope that makes a little bit of sense. There are the credits. That is the bonus weather video for today. The next one will be coming up tomorrow, and of course the next daily weather update coming up tomorrow as well. You all take care, folks, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow. See you later.